And that brings me to my first topic. I want to talk about Dababy. I want to start off with Dababy. Here's the reason why I want to start it with Dababy. Dababy seems to be having a long run with these violent issues with people. I'm not sure if it makes him, well, he's definitely responsible. There's a degree of being responsible. There has to be a certain level of responsibility taken on your end. This isn't just happening to you. It's happening. I mean, it's not just happening to you once or twice. It's happening so often that we after a while have to take into consideration why so much of this is happening to you. What is it that comes from your end? So when I'm wondering exactly what's going on, I look at maybe necessarily your upbringing. You know, you definitely had run-ins with the law. You've had difficult situations in life. The reason why we kind of may be a little harder on Baby than it is anybody else, because when we listen to you, we can hear articulate. We can hear that you're smart. We can hear that you can think through a situation. So why am I finding you constantly getting into it with the valet? You beat up a dude in the middle of Louis Vuitton, knocked him out his drawers. Your bodyguard slapped people. You slapping people. It feels like every other month you getting active. I understand you got to get active because we see a lot of issues. And we used to see this with our artists like Waka Flocka, Gucci Mane, but that's not the one that really come to mind when I think about artists like Dababy. But first, let me tell you his latest adventures. Let's just go into what his latest adventures is. He just got into it with a woman who apparently, while at a Tampa show, and I believe what is the Whiskey North or something along those lines, that's the name of the nightclub, but it's out there in Tampa, Florida. And in Tampa, Florida, which is funny why these artists coming down to Florida beating on our women, I couldn't tell you. They're a little, maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they're a little more aggressive than other women. I can't tell you. But anyway, he ended up slapping a woman who apparently, I guess he felt disrespected or took a very aggressive measures into how she decided to videotape him. That she smacked him in the phone. So this is what she's saying happened. He smacked her. She smacked him in the face with the phone. And he said because the light was so bright and he couldn't see who was on the other end, when he decided to get active, because Dababy do get active, we know this much, he didn't know it was a woman on the other end. He said he would have handled it differently, but I guess he just felt like it was a fan and he just slapped. I don't know if he would slap a guy. I'm going to say that. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I don't know if he would have slapped a man. Had it been a guy that hit you, I think that guy would have left in an ambulance. I think you very much knew it was a woman. I think you looked at her a few times. But, you know, that's just how Dababy give it up. I'm sure that's his natural energy. And the fact is, this dude just finds himself in trouble. And it's the weirdest stuff because he seems to have a business mind. He seems to be business oriented. He's very intelligent, but it feels like to a point, is he just throwing bricks and hiding his fingers? I have to start asking these questions. So basically, that's who was involved. Dababy and another unnamed woman so far. Well, and as far as why the woman hit him, the woman might most likely hit him because she was attempting to record him. Because he was on stage and this was, you know, a normal thing. People want to get a good close up, even though he made a very good point that you can simply zoom in. Now, why she decided not to zoom in, that's all on her. I couldn't tell you. I can't tell you where her logic was at when she decided that it would have been a better idea for her to smack him in the face with the phone. Clearly it wasn't. Clearly it wasn't a good investment of your time and effort, because he clapped back. And that's what these street dudes, man. You got to think about that with these street dudes. They're a little wired different. They're going to move a little different than say a square like myself or somebody else. You know, they're going to get active. It's just how that works. But it brings me to the likeness, because we are talking on self-destruct. And in this episode of After I Self-Destruct, I think of one artist who fits this bill. I'm talking was so hot it felt like he could do no wrong. He was just the man, and there was no doubt that this brother was the person to talk to when it came to hit records. That was Kevin Gates. From 2 Phones to really, like, he had a platinum record. He didn't need features. He didn't need to play nice with others. He just had that certain vibe. It seemed like he could go outside the rules or the norm of how business is done these days. But guess what? Even Kevin Gates eventually had to bow down to the reality that everybody moves by rules. And this is where he got himself out of here. When he kicked old girl down in Florida, I forget where it was in Florida, but anyway, just like in Florida, Kevin Gates came down here and he kicked a woman apparently for constantly touching his private parts. Whatever. But you still kicked her. And your arrogance was so crazy, and it was like, all right, that's the last straw with you. Because you keep doing this and doing this, this affects your brand. And he didn't seem to be taking these court situations serious. And it feels like also with Dababy, I don't think Dababy's really taking these courts hearing serious either. I think they feel like they got enough money to buy it that it's all petty, it's all small stuff, it's all whatever. It get big after a while. It does. Because if you look at Kevin, he hasn't been the same since. So if I'm looking at one trajectory, I would advise Dababy to look at artists like Kevin Gates, who still is equally talented. He dropped the album called I'm Him, Kevin Gates. He dropped the album called I'm Him. One of the best albums to drop last year. Didn't get nowhere near the acclaim because guess what? I don't feel like I can invest in you, especially when I see you in the courtroom sleeping. You do realize there's years on the table. Yeah, you may not care if you go to jail, but what about the millions that was invested in you? What about everybody who gave an opportunity to you? How are they supposed to recoup? If I was Dababy, I would take that in consideration. That's just what I would say. I would take that into consideration. But it's one